Hey everyone, welcome back to part 3 in our video series of step-by-step getting started selling on Whatnot. In today's video, we're going to tackle the actual live selling part of Whatnot. So we've already talked about applying to Whatnot and getting your profile set up. We talked about listing as well as the different styles that you can sell on Whatnot. And today we're going to actually put those things into action. We're going to go ahead and go through our inventory, get everything prepped and set up for sale. We're going to set up our giveaways, put things in our buy it now, and make sure our show is completely ready to go live. Once we go live, I'm going to do a combination of screen sharing as well as recording my actual actions as I'm live, what it looks like when I'm getting started, when I'm talking to the chat, when I'm pressing buttons on the screen and getting things queued up. I'm going to show you guys the exact process of running an auction, labeling the auction. I know a lot of you all have a lot of questions about how do I keep track of everything once an auction has ran. I want to show you all the bundling side of things. So whether you want to do auctions or bundling, you're going to get a little bit of both here in this video. You're going to be able to see how it looks on the back end when I am running auctions, creating bundles, doing giveaways, and interacting with the chat live. So it's going to be a really immersive experience. If you've been looking for someone to follow along, this is going to be a really great video for you. We're going to start from start all the way to finish before we go live to after we end the show. So you're going to see every part of the steps in between. Step 1 is we need to go ahead and get our inventory organized. So we've gone sourcing, we have our inventory selected, and what I need to go ahead and start doing is getting everything set up in a way that looks presentable to my audience. I also want to take a preview picture and put that on as my thumbnail so people can scroll through Whatnot and be enticed by the image that I have set up for the items I'm going to have in my show. And then when people pop in, everything is very organized and presentable. So that's step 1. We have our inventory. Let's go ahead and start organizing it. I have a few bags of inventory that I just sourced, and so I'm going to go ahead and start working my way through this, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when I kind of have it all set up, as well as the method to how I choose what books I'm going to be putting out in any given show. You can translate this, of course, to any things you're selling. I sell books, but you will be doing this regardless of what you sell, whether it's clothes, handbags, jewelry, crafts, whatever it might be. You're going to find your inventory and set it up in the way that best suits what you're trying to showcase. Because it's just one of the easiest things to show. All right, so I have everything that I'm going to be selling already laid out here, and this is pretty much everything I'm going to be selling. Maybe not all of these leveled readers, but I have these kind of sorted by size, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is make piles so that, again, they're aesthetically pleasing. This is an example of kind of what it'll look like. This is the board books. You can see I put the larger ones at the bottom and then the smaller ones at the top, and I have this nice neat stack. So I'm basically going to replicate that with the other types of books that I'm going to be selling. Again, translating this into whatever it is that you are selling, just figure out the way that makes the items that you're selling look aesthetically pleasing and presentable. All right, so everything is set up, and as you can see, it's all laid out nice and neat, and everything is in the appropriate pile. So we've got chapter books, I've got non-chapter books, leveled readers, and board books, because these are the main types of books that I sell, and so those are the categories that I have everything laid out into. Again, just to put it into terms of something else, let's say you're selling clothing, maybe you have all of your t-shirts in a pile, all of your jeans folded in a pile, maybe you have a few bags and accessories to the side, and everything's just laid out nice and neat and organized so that if somebody asks you for something, you're not fiddling through a bin trying to find what it is that they're asking for. You already know where it is, and it's already set out and ready to be shown to people. So now it's time to go ahead and upload your preview picture and a preview video if you'd like. I actually don't do a lot of preview videos anymore, but when I was first getting started, I used preview videos a lot. So I am going to film one today to kind of show you how I would do it and how you can utilize it to really draw people into your show. So first up, we're going to take a picture of the new inventory that I set out here, and this is just going to be the main photo that's going to be showing up on our show. as people are scrolling through the book category and they come across my show, they'll see that preview image and they'll be able to see kind of what I have to offer. So this is how I get this preview video. I just obviously use my phone, and I usually just kind of sit here and get a real nice wide angle, and I'll show you guys what this looks like here in just a moment. And take that photo, and you can kind of see here on the camera, that is kind of just the basic little preview photo there, and we're going to go ahead and add that into our show. Before I do that, let me just go ahead and film our preview video as well. It's going to be very short and sweet, and if you just listen to what I'm saying, you'll kind of see the boxes you want to check off as far as things that you want to include information-wise in the preview video. So here's how I would do it. It's been a while, so hopefully I'm not too rusty, but let's go ahead and record one and let's see what it looks like. So I would go, hey everyone, happy Tuesday, welcome in. Today we have some new inventory for you all. We've got board books, leveled readers, non-chapter books, as well as some great chapter books for all ages. As you can see here, I have tons of books available on my shelves. You can actually preview all of these books. If you click on the store in the bottom right hand corner here, you can see all of my shelves. I have books for all ages. We have adult, young adult, storybooks, leveled readers, board books, all kinds of stuff, and most of my books fall under the $4 range. I'll always let you guys know if a book is more than $4, and I also have a ton of set pricing in the show notes. So click on the show notes, does a really good job breaking down how the show works. I do bundling on my show, so again, check out the show notes. I do run some auctions, but mostly bundling, lots of great deals. I'll catch you guys in just a bit. That was it. So that was maybe, 45 seconds to a minute of a video, and I can put that in. So now when people click on my profile or they click on that show, it'll actually start playing that video and gives them right off of the bat a ton of information straight from my mouth, letting them know what the show's going to entail. So whatever you might be selling that night, showcase it in a video, talk about it, tell people how the show's going to be working, what your pricing structure is going to be, how does your show work? And it also gives them a little bit of a glimpse of your personality. So it's a really great way to draw buyers in. All right, let's go ahead and open up Whatnot and put in those preview photos and videos so you guys can see how it works. So we've talked about this before. This is going to be your main screen when you open up the platform. And down here at the bottom, this seller hub is kind of where you're going to access most of your stuff. So if you actually just scroll right up, you can see your upcoming shows listed here. And this is ours today at 4 p.m. I'll go ahead and click on that. So that's a show that we scheduled. We talked about that in the last video, how to schedule your shows, how to create listings. So we're going to go ahead and click on the More option, which is the 3 little dots, and it's going to pull up a little menu, and we want to edit our show to make our thumbnail and video show up. So we're going to click Edit Show, and we are going to go down to the Media section. So we'll go ahead and go to Thumbnail, and I'm going to go ahead and go to our gallery because obviously I just took a picture, and that was our picture we took. I'm just going to kind of center it a little bit there. We'll go ahead and click crop, and now we have our thumbnail preview picture. Let's go ahead and click add a video. Same deal, we'll click gallery and this last little video here, and then we'll go ahead and click update. And sometimes it takes a moment, so just bear with it, give it some time. It will update, and I'll show you all what that looks like now. As I mentioned before, your profile picture auto defaults as your thumbnail. So if you go live without doing this step, it'll just be whatever your profile picture is. So now when we go back, you can see that's what it did look like. If we go back and click on Seller Hub again, or let's maybe refresh it, there we go. So now that's what our thumbnail looks like. It's the image we took, and then if I click on this, it is playing my preview video. That is how that looks. So really simple process. Again, you're just going to the More option here, you're clicking Edit Show, and then you're adding in that media. So you could do that when you schedule your show or afterwards. It really doesn't matter. So now that that thumbnail video and picture are updated, we are now already generating interest in our show. So people are able to see what we're going to be selling, what the show setup looks like, what the vibes are going to be like. So that is going to be your first step. Once you get that inventory situated, get that preview picture up at least, and if you want to add in a video as well, go ahead and do that. So now that that's done, let's move on to the next step, which is going to be kind of updating like our inventory and our shelves for everyone to view. So every show I have pre-listed items. I have my shelves pictured. I have items listed in the Buy It Now, and so I want to go ahead and clone those over. If something doesn't sell, I don't have to relist it. So if I have something listed in the Buy It Now and it doesn't sell in a show, I don't have to go back and retake photos and make a new listing for that that item, I can do what's called cloning over your listings. So I'm going to jump into a screen share here and I'll show you guys what it looks like to clone listings from a previous show over. Obviously, if you've never gone live, you don't have anything to clone over. So you will need to create all of these listings firsthand, but we did talk about that in the last video. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to clone things over. I'm going to show you what it looks like when I update those listings, as well as we are going to add in a few new listings. So we will go through that here because I'm going to list some individually listed items. I also want to put in my show notes and I'm going to enter some giveaways. So let's jump into that screen recording and go ahead and go through the next step. So I usually go over here to the Whatnot app in order to get to my listings or my past shows to clone. So here I am in my Seller Hub. Again, if you're just going to Whatnot, you're going to just click on your main profile, your Seller Hub, wherever you need to go to get it. It looks like if you click your old profile here in the corner, it pulls it up. And what we're going to go down to is shows. You see where it says shows right here? This is going to show us obviously our upcoming shows, but as well as our past shows. So if you have had a past show with listings in it and you want to get those listings cloned over, go ahead and toggle from upcoming over to past. You see at the top there where it says past. So we are going to clone over these listings from this reward show. This was a show I did last night and I did actually have all of my current listings in there. So if you see here in the gray, it says clone items. So that's what we're going to click. We're going to click clone items. And it's going to pull up everything that we have listed in that show. And the first thing you need to do is go ahead and click which show these products are going to be cloned to. We are going to do the one right at the top, new inventory, because that's our next show coming up tonight. And I like to just click select all because I want everything over there. So you can see there are individual listed books for the buy it now. I also have the things that I have pinned up at the bottom of my shows sometimes, like showing new inventory or cashing people out will resume shortly, as well as all of my shelves. So this is everything listed in my store normally, and in one touch of a button, I'm going to clone it right on over, and we'll go ahead and click OK. And it's actually going to pull us right up in the app here.
Happy Tuesday.
Turn that down. And now when I click on the store in the bottom right hand corner, you see it says 158 items in there. I have all of my auction listings as well as my shelves. I've got items for the buy it now. The only thing that doesn't clone over for me personally is giveaways. I have a feeling that on Apple they clone over. I may be wrong, but for Android they do not. But I do have my auction and buy it now listings. Now the first thing I want to go ahead and do is update this new inventory. So you see this very top listing for me personally, because I do a lot of new inventory in my shows, I have this updated every single show, a preview photo of what to expect in new inventory. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is click this edit listing, and I'm going to click these little X's. I'm going to exit out of all of those photos so that there's no photos, and I'm going to click add photos. Now I can come on over here to where I have all my inventory set up and start taking some pictures. First off, I'm going to kind of just zoom back like this, and we'll take our first photo just so it's a little bit of like everything, and then I'll just kind of come in and I'll just take little pictures of each one of the stacks. You're able to update 8 photos. So each listing is able to hold 8 photos right now. Maybe one day they'll make that more, but 8 is typically a decent amount. So now I have everything photographed there. And now when people want to come in, they can scroll through and get a little preview of what to expect for new inventory. So you can also use this new inventory system by, again, taking pictures of everything that you're going to have available, or at least part of everything you're going to have available. Maybe you're going to have a ton of like Lululemon leggings and you have like 40 pairs. Put them all kind of next to each other and take a couple photos so people can see some of the colors that you're going to have. Right? Maybe you can't take a picture of every single thing that you're going to be selling, but maybe you can take a picture of some of the colors or the styles or the patterns or just a little taste of what's going to be coming up. But now I have that updated. For those of you guys that haven't seen any of my previous videos, the way I use these little listings that aren't something for sale, because this isn't anything for sale. This is like informational. As you can see, I have 14,000 views on this item because every time I just clone it over and I update it. Now I clicked that little thumbtack there because I want to show you. If I go back out, do you see how now at the bottom it's pinned up? It says showing new inventory, claim a book by saying title. I'm giving people details and information as to what to expect as they're popping in, and they can actually click down here. I can't do it because it's me, but they could click this little listing at the bottom and it would pull up this listing here for them to actually scroll through and see. All right, so that's the point of updating a new inventory picture, as well as updating these shelves. That's what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll update like this adult shelf. I'll take new photos of it, American Girl, so on and so forth. And I'll show you guys that in just a minute. Before we get to updating shelves, let's go ahead and enter giveaways and show notes real quick. Start off with show notes because it's pretty simple. Now, there is an import last show notes button, and typically I'm able to press that because I have the same show notes every show. But my last show was a specialty show, and so if I import my last show notes, they're going to be not relatable to this show. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually go to my clipboard because I think I have this show notes pinned in my clipboard. So I'm going to go to my clipboard and try to find it, and I'll pin that up and show you guys in just a second. All right, here is my standard show notes. So what I typically have, and obviously if this is your first time going live, you're going to need to type this out. But what I typically do is I have this typed out and I copy it, and then I just put it in my clipboard. So it's just kind of saved in my phone, and then I can pin it up anytime that I need to without having to retype this every time. But what I did was I just clicked that little top left where it says show notes. It looks like a little post-it note, and that's what brought this up. I pasted in or typed in what I wanted it to say, and mine runs along the lines of this. You know, hi, here's my name. This is kind of what I do. My main thing I need people to know is that I only run auctions if more than one person is interested in the same item. I do a lot of new inventory. I take requests from my shelves, kind of my pricing, so that people have an idea of like how much do my books typically run for. I also just let people know, you know, I have all of my shelves pictured, so make sure you're looking at that. I also have stuff in the buy it now, and I kind of just do this, you know, twice a week, and that's my deal, and a little bit about me, right? So I click post. Now that's posted in there. When people pop in, they will be able to see this and get a lot of information about my show. I definitely think using the show notes is really, really important. You just want to give people as much of an opportunity to know exactly what's going on as possible, and using the show notes is a great way to do that. All right, let's go ahead and put in some giveaways real quick. So we're going to go back over to the store, bottom right hand corner where it says shop. So we'll pull up our shop, and we're going to click on the yellow add button. You don't need to toggle to giveaway or anything to do it. You can do it from the auction or buy it now. It really doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to click that little yellow plus sign at the bottom right hand corner, and it's going to pull up that create listing option. Again, we always use the create quality listing as opposed to the other two options, and we want to add in a photo. I have some preset photos I use for giveaways. I'll show you what those look like. They are stored in my screenshot section. So instead of taking a photo here, I'm actually going to click on the bottom. You see where it looks like a little, I don't know, like two little photographs here. This will pull up your gallery. So if you click that, it'll actually pull up your gallery for you to choose the images that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my images real quick, and I'll show you. First image that I use is just this generic yellow thank you image, and I'll go ahead and pick the category, which is going to be books. And then I'll put in my title. And the way I do my giveaways are always the same. I do a giveaway. All of your listings will always be in alphabetical order. I want my buyer's giveaways to show up below my regular giveaways just so that I don't accidentally run a buyer's giveaway. So I use a giveaway for an everyone giveaway because it'll pop up at the very top. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click giveaway here, and we'll change our quantity to 4. It's going to be a relatively short show, so we're not going to have very many of those. And we're going to toggle it to followers only. You can do everyone. However, I want people to follow me if they're entering a giveaway. And then we'll show you in a second what the buyer's appreciation looks like. But this one's just going to be followers only. I never turn on international shipping because you are responsible for the fees, which are very high. And then for the shipping profile, I just always choose the lowest profile, which is the 0 to 1 ounces, because you're paying out the shipping regardless. It really doesn't matter what the weight is. So I just go with the lowest one. I'm not changing anything else, and I'm going to go ahead and click publish. Now, if I click on my giveaway tab, you'll see those 4 giveaways are now included in there, and they are all listed individually. Okay, let's go ahead and add in a buyer's giveaway. We'll do again create quick listing, and then this is what I typically use for my buyer's giveaway. I just like the way that that one looks. Again, used books, and this one is going to be thank you because again, alphabetical order. It just throws it down at the bottom. And that's just the way I do it. It's my way. You can title it really whatever you want, but I do always put host choice as the description just because I don't always know what the giveaway is going to be per se. For buyer's giveaways, it's usually the same thing, but I just want it to say host choice. Again, we'll pop that over to where it says giveaway, and we'll make this one, let's do 12 of them. I don't think we'll need that many, but we'll do 12. And instead of followers only, we're going to click buyer appreciation. Reminder, it says here, just as a reminder, buyers who purchase in your stream after the giveaway is created are eligible. So if you do your entire show and then go, oh, I totally forgot to put in a buyer's giveaway, and then put in your buyer's giveaway, no one will be able to enter if they haven't made a purchase after you made it. You have to make these before you go live, all right? Again, not putting in that international shipping. You don't need to worry about this giveaway rules. You are more than welcome to put in, font, whatever you want in there, but there's no additional rules that I need to include. And then same deal, giving it that low 0 to 1 ounce shipping profile. Publish. Buyer's giveaways will always pop this up just like, hey, just a reminder, you can't delete these or edit these. They are set, so make sure they are what you want them to look like and be like. And we'll click confirm. And now you'll see here, they are loading up. There we go. At the top in alphabetical order, we have our 4 regular giveaways. And then down here, we have our 12 buyers giveaways, and you can see how they are all individually listed there. So for example, we'll show this when we do it. When you go to run these and say you're doing your buyers giveaway and you click run, you want to label the item that's going to be the giveaway as buyers giveaway 1. And then when you go to run the second one, that'll be buyers giveaway 2, whatever the item might be. So you'll just have a little labeling system for those, but those will all run as individual items. All right. Where are we at? We did show notes, we did giveaways, and we've cloned our listings. Now let's update a few pictures real quick. Now it's time to update our shelves. I'm going to go ahead and go down through our inventory here, and our very first listing of our shelves is our adult shelves. Again, remember, everything's in alphabetical order, so adult shelves starts with A. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is open up this listing here, and this was the old listing. This was for last Saturday. These were the books that I had available on my shelf, but some of these books have sold. So we're going to go ahead and click the 3 little dots here, and we're going to click edit. This is going to allow us to edit that listing that we've previously made. Just like on the new inventory, we're going to exit out of all those photos because those are old pictures, and now we want to update them, and we're going to click add photos. So let's go ahead and take some pictures here of our adult shelves. What I'm going to go ahead and do first is just take a little bit of a wide photo, because that'll kind of be our main photo for that listing. And then we'll just kind of come in a little close, and I'll just get all of these books. So we'll start here. We'll kind of go down here. I'm going to get these Nora Roberts there. Come up here and grab these ones. That. Okay, so now I'll click complete, and that was new photos now of everything. And again, I'm not editing anything here. All of this is preset. I've just made this listing. I've titled it Adult Shelves. This is not something I'm going to run as an auction. This is just an individual listing for people to view what's on my shelf. And I have it listed here, like make requests. Most of these books are going to be $3 to $4. I always say that book of the months are $5 just because that's a set price. So we'll just go ahead and click Save Changes, and I'll show you guys what that looks like now. All right, so now it's updated. Again, same listing here with our new updated photos. So then I'll just go down. I don't always update everything on Tuesday, so I'm just going to find a few other shelves that I want to update. I think we should do board books because I think we sold quite a few board books. So again, I'm going to edit, exit out of all those old photos, add new photos, and come on over to our board book section here. So again, I'll get kind of a larger picture of everything, just kind of going through each of my shelves, getting as many of the books clearly pictured as I possibly can, and save changes. And now that listing for people to preview what I have available on my board book shelves is updated and listed in my auction tab. What I'm utilizing is the auction tab in order to showcase all the items I have available. Because I don't want to individually list every single item, I'm using the auction tab as a really broad way of looking at everything I have available in my store. So again, if you're somebody who's selling bulk, you're selling a lot of stuff, and you want to show people everything you have, but you're not always just going to show them that every single show. You need to find a way to like let them be able to see what it is. And you only really have the auction tab and the buy it now in order to do that. So you're creating listings that are never going to be ran as an auction. People can pre-bid on them. They can put bookmarks on it. They can do all that if they want, but you're never going to actually run that listing as an auction. It's just going to be a preset listing in your store that's showcasing items in that genre. So if you have a ton of Chanel handbags, but you don't want to individually list all of those Chanel purses, you could go in and say, these are all of my Chanel purses. And you take a picture of the 6 different Chanel bags that you have. And when people come in and say, do you have any Chanel handbags? You can go, I do. Click on my auction tab. You can see under the Chanel handbags listing, those are the 6 bags that I have available at this moment. Say one sells. For your next show, you can go in, exit out of those old photos, retake photos of the next 5 that you have, and now you have an updated listing with just the new 5 that you have as opposed, to the one that sold. So it's just a matter of using it to kind of showcase everything you have so that people are able to see all of the options as opposed to just what's being shown on the screen. If you have a lot more for sale, you want to give people that option to find those items for sale in your store. So we've cloned listings, we've done giveaways, we've done show notes, we've updated some listings. Last thing that I want to go ahead and do is list some items as individual listings. I'm going to show you that process again. These are going to be items that I will be running as an auction, so let's go ahead and jump into that. We're going to go ahead and do a listing here. I'm just going to use this little white background here as our listing space for some individually listed items. And these are going to be similar to these ones that you're seeing here, where they are just a single book with a description and a title and a set price. So I do have some things that are set listed as auctions, but although most of the items I'm showing are not individually listed. All right, so again, this little plus sign in the bottom right hand corner, we're going to click create quality listing, and we'll go ahead and start adding in our photos. So let's go ahead and I usually do about 3, 4, 5 photos or so for these individually listed items. Just kind of showcasing all of them, because if people are going to be putting pre-bids in on your items, you really don't want to have to give them a disclaimer after they've already put in a pre-bid and go, oh, I didn't really take a photo of it, but there's this damage here. Take a photo of any damage, mention it in the description, let people know exactly what they're getting into so that they are being able to bid responsibly and you're not opening yourself up to cancellations. All right, so we took our little 4 photos there. I did talk about listing in our last video, so if you want to go through this a little bit slower, again, click on that video pinned up here at the top or wherever it is in my profile. It is going to be a great explanation of how to do listings in a little bit more detail. For me, what I'm doing here is I'm putting in the title and the author. Now at the beginning you see that there's a 0. I'm going to show you why I put a 0 there in just a second, but let's go ahead and move on. For our description, I like to be a little detailed, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a bunch of information including the star rating for this, and I'll be right back. All right, so now I have in this whole little description of what the book is about. I've got a quantity of 1. It's going to be in the auction tab, and I'm going to make this one a $7 book. And then shipping profile for this is probably going to be a little over £1. So we'll do 1 to 2 pounds and then publish. So let me show you guys why I did the 0 there. Kind of explain that. As I mentioned, everything goes in alphabetical order, but it also goes in numerical order. So if I refresh this at the very, very top, do you see how the 0 is the very first listing and then I have AA? And it's because I want this listing to be at the very top of my listings, the showing new inventory, because I am pinning that up all the time. I want that to be at the very top. But after that, I want all these individual listings. So do you see how they all start with 0? And that one we just entered starts with 0. And then my shelves actually start with a number 1. Because those are the next things that I want to show up. So all of my shelves, do you see how they start with a number 1? This way I can keep it all in alphabetical order in the way that I want things to show up. And then after that, once you get to the bottoms of the ones, it starts back over in alphabetical order without the numbers. So do you see that? So that is why I use the 0s and the 1s to really organize my auction tab. So feel free to utilize the numerology system to keep everything as organized as you possibly can. All right, let's go ahead and list one more book real quick, and then we'll go ahead and pretty much be ready to go live. All right, we're going to list another Lucy Score. So again, popping that up here, clicking the plus sign, creating a quality listing. We're going to add in the, 4 or so pictures. Alrighty, so now we have a couple of listings in there. I'll probably add in a few more, but that's kind of the listing process. So if you're looking to create individual listings, again, it's as simple as just clicking that plus sign, putting in the details, taking your photos, and they will show up as so in alphabetical order in your auction tab. Okay, so here is our little final setup of what our show is going to be looking like. Here to my right, I have a pen and a notepad for me to jot down or notate anything that I need to remember. I've got my little post-it notes here. I actually, just for my purposes, cut them into thirds because it is easiest to label my books that way. And of course, I'll show you guys that once we go live. I have some preset name tags from regular buyers here as well. And then I also use these to write down names for bundles. Again, we'll get through all of that when we get started. I also have a phone here where I do like to play some music to the side. You don't need to play music, that's up to you, but you can use a phone. You could also have a laptop to the side, whatever you want. I have my water as well, stay hydrated. And then depending on what you're selling, you may need things like maybe a measuring tape, a lint roller, or spot remover. Maybe you need some soda. I definitely do sometimes, but spot remover, things like that. Paper towels would be helpful for the spot remover. So sometimes you just need a few additional things to the side. So just kind of think about what you're selling. What are some things that you would normally use to list or process those things on other platforms that you've sold on? And you may want to have those handy for when you are live selling. And then I also, of course, have my scale here to the side. As far as equipment goes, we have a nice little light here. I've got my tripod over here to the side, and that's about it. It's a really basic setup. We've just got some lighting, something to hold our phone, something to weigh everything, and then a few things to like label and organize. Something else I wanted to mention was giveaways. I do have some back here. These are just kind of random things that are fun. I do a lot of like journals, coloring things, just cute, unique type books. Sometimes I have some bookish items, but this is kind of my little giveaway section. I also have some stuff in here like holiday themed items. We've got candies and just kind of different stuff. And then I also, of course, have some storage back here for like bookmarks and just random things. So anytime, depending on what I'm selling, I kind of have a variety of giveaway style items back here that I can reach for. So depending on what you're selling, obviously we'll deem what type of giveaways you want to do, but lighter, simple, easy things that aren't that expensive to do as giveaways are great options. All right, it's time to go live. So we are going to set up our camera. We've got our tripod here. We'll get the show set up and open up our Whatnot app and pull up our show. And then once we are officially ready to click go live and be live in action and able to be found on Whatnot, we'll go ahead and click start auction and Whatnot will go live. I've noticed a lot of times when I do go live that right off the bat it will actually have the camera facing me, like it'll be a rear facing camera towards you behind the camera, if that makes sense. And what you'll just want to do is on the right hand side click that switch button and it'll switch it back around so that it's front facing. So if you are going live trying to show things in front of the camera and it's facing you, just look on the right hand side of your screen. You'll see a little button that says switch and it'll switch that camera back around. Now at the very beginning of the show you're going to hear me basically just saying hello, welcoming everyone in, just saying my little 2 cents of getting the show started, and I will basically do a very quick overview of how the show works for anyone who might be new. I'll reference the show notes. I'll kind of point people in the directions that they need to go, and then we will just jump into selling. We'll have either some requests coming in from the shelves that are pictured or just general questions, and I'll grab those requests or answer those questions, and then I'll start going through the books. I'll put some books up here on the table and just begin going through them. So again, I'm going to take you guys through the whole show. I'm hoping that this is going to be about a 45-minute to an hour-long show, so a relatively quick show. I've got a good bit of stuff to get through, but I don't think it's going to take us too long, and I'm going to try my best to show you as much of that without making it too repetitive. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it and get live. All right, everyone, so we have our show screen pulled up here. Again, this is just going to our upcoming shows, clicking that. I did actually already have a few requests, as you can see right up here at the top. So I do have those piles off here to the side. I'll go ahead and show you those in a bit when we get started. But we're going to go ahead and click Start Show and begin selling. All right, let's go ahead and get going. Hey everyone, welcome in, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. Welcome in, everyone. We have our first little bit of new inventory here on the table. I've got chapter books and non-chapter books, and then here are the shelves. We've got books for all ages, and you can stay right there because I'm going to just do a scan. Books for all ages, as you guys can see here on the shelves. If you want to see what's pictured here on these shelves, click on the store down here, bottom, where is it? Bottom right-hand corner, and you guys can actually browse the shelves. I have, obviously, like I said, books for all ages. Pricing is listed in the show notes. If you guys click on the little post-it note somewhere on the screen, it does a great job breaking down how the pricing structure works. Most of my books are $4 and under, and I will always let you know if a book is $5 or more. So if I don't tell you the price of the book, you just know that it's a $1, $2, $3, or $4 book, again, with those general set pricing listed. Most of my kids' books are kind of falling in that $2, $3 range, and then most of my adult books are like $3, $4 range. That's kind of the average that you're going to see. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to do bundling. So basically, I'm going to go through new inventory books like what's here on the table. We've got a chapter and non-chapter, and then over here down on the ground, we have 2 more stacks of chapter, board books, and leveled readers. All right, so we're going to go through all of this, like I said, in about an hour. We're going to go through the books one at a time. I'm going to show you the book and the condition as well as the synopsis for chapter books pretty briefly. If you decide that you'd like to buy the book that I'm showing, please just say the title or part of the title, and I'll put it to the side into a pile for you. So I'll just use my little post-it notes here. I'll write your name down, and I'll stick the books to the side. If more than one person is interested in the same book, we'll run it as an auction. So for example, if we're going down this stack and I get to a book and I see 2 or 3 people in the comments saying they want the same book, we'll just go ahead and run it as an auction so that everyone has a chance to purchase it. But if I only see one request, then it's going to go into a pile for you. So you don't have to bid on the book if you're the only one that wants it. So I'll just put it to the side for you, and then you can bundle that way. So that's kind of how the show works. I only run auctions if more than one person is interested in a book. Any Froggy books? I actually do not have any Froggy books at the moment. So you don't have to say if you want to start a pile, Kaylee. Basically, as I'm going through the books here, or if you're making requests from the shelves, remember, shelf books are available at any time. So I have shelves full of books up here. You guys can make requests at any time. Those are all listed down here in the store if you scroll down. As far as the new inventory books, hang tight till we get through those one at a time. But if you make a request and you're the only requester, then I know that you want to bundle. Unless you want to cash out, you'll usually let me know, like, hey, can you just run that one book? That's all I want kind of vibe. Other than that, yes, I'll stick it into a bundle. For context, these were a couple of the piles that were already created earlier. Some people had asked for some stuff before the show started from the shelf. So you can see here how I have like little books with name tags next to it. So that'll kind of be our bundling process, okay? So that is a kind of a default. Bundling is the default, I would say. Yes, MGZ, you can cubby today. For those of you guys that don't know what the cubby is, it's basically a small pile hold system that I do every week starting on Tuesday. I do a book show every Tuesday and every Saturday. So if you come in today, maybe you find 1 or 2 books that catch your eye, and you're like me, maybe you don't want to pay shipping because you know you want to come back on Saturday and buy more. You can hold those books until Saturday, come back in onto Saturday's show, maybe grab some more things and cash out once instead of cashing out twice every week on Tuesday and Saturday. So this. Thank you, TB. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat at any time. No, you're good. So just a reminder, anything that's not purchased at the end of the show on Saturday is no longer held. So anything that was left over will either be shown back at the end of the show in what we call orphans, which are books that were left over and not purchased, and they will be up for grabs. And then if they don't sell, they go back onto the shelf. So if you see anything that you had in your pile back on the shelf that you'd like, just let me know. But I don't remember exactly what was in your stack, love. So if you have a list or you remember, just let me know and I'll double check for ya. Okay, perfect. So I think we're caught up. So that's kind of how the show works. Again, show notes are pinned somewhere on the screen. Does a really good job breaking it down. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and pin up an opening giveaway for you all. So for my YouTube audience over here, we're going to go ahead and click on this giveaway button here at the top. What I did was went over here down to my store in the bottom right hand corner, clicking on giveaway. If you remember earlier, we put all those giveaways in, and this is going to be a giveaway for everyone. So we're going to click run, and it's just automatically running. And so if I go back, I can see right up here at the top right, and everyone can go ahead and get entered, and you can see everyone entering. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out an item for them for the giveaway, opening giveaway. Let's start off with something funny. I love these little books. We're going to do the Everything I Need to Know I Learned from a Little Golden Book. It's just like a fun, cute little nostalgic looking book. So that'll be our giveaway. So what we're going to go ahead and do is make a little post-it note for this one. And I label these RG, which is kind of like regular giveaway is how I label that. And it's going to be number 1. And I'll just go ahead and pop it on the book here and just stick it to the side. And when that auction runs, or sorry, that giveaway draws in 5 minutes, that'll be the winner and they'll get that book. So that's how we run giveaways. For those of you guys that are just joining us, I am filming a YouTube video right now. I do make YouTube content about selling on Whatnot. So if you hear me talking to a cameraman / other people that doesn't sound like you, it's just because I am filming a video. So bear with me. Harry Potter 4-3. Oh, that's right. You had the Harry Potters. Okay. I think I still have okay. Yeah. I have them over here still for you, Giddy, because I just popped them right back up on the shelf. All right. So Giddy had asked for these books last week. Wasn't able to snag them, but they are still available. So we're going to go ahead and start a pile, and I write Giddy down there, kind of stick it on the corner, and I'll just set these right over here, and she can keep adding to her stack until she's ready to get cashed out. All right, perfect. We're going to get started with new inventory very shortly. Wyoming and Brave. Absolutely. So we've got some requests from our shelves. So again, like I mentioned, this is why you sometimes want to have your shelves listed, because I'm not showing these books. However, somebody does see them and wants to snag them. What did she say? Rogue Stallion. Those 3. What else you got, Jenna? Interview with a Vampire and Running on Wild. Absolutely. Perfect. All right, so we got all those for Jenna. Jenna has a little custom name tag. She's a regular buyer. And where's her name tag? Oh, she's in the cubby. We did have our rewards show yesterday. So this is a very large stack of books that I'm pulling out of the cubby. But it is because on Monday night, last night, we had our rewards club show for our members who are a gold tier and higher. I will do a video about the rewards club a little more in depth, but I'll pin one up here that talks about how the rewards club works if you're unfamiliar with it. But that is one of the perks, is a show for just certain members in the rewards club. All right, Jenna, I got you. Same as on here, KTB, Resell Maven. Same as on here. It is the Alice pen. It starts with us. I do have it starts with us, Chris. If you're interested, that one's 4. I can definitely grab that and start a pile for you. Thank you, Giddy. Rock Bottom Girl. Yeah, let's go ahead and run Rock Bottom Girl. Anything listed in the auction tab with the little zeros in front of it that are like individual listings, you guys can make requests there at any time. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is click on the store in the bottom right hand corner, and I scroll down to where Rock Bottom Girl was, and you can see here I just clicked that little thumbtack button. So when I click it, it actually pins it right up to the bottom here so everyone kind of knows what is going on. Twilight, or what do I have Twilight as right now? I have it in the show notes. Let me make sure. I had them at 3 for a while. I think they're 4 now. Yeah, $4 on the Twilights, hardback or paperback, whatever you prefer. All right, let me grab Rock Bottom Girl and Chris. It starts with us. Let me know if you still wanted that one. I'll grab it for you. $4 for each one, yes. So paperback or hardcover, they're just 4 each. Whatever you need. And then okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and grab request. You'll see here on the screenshot I'll try to put in that people are making requests from the shelves again. So somebody requested it starts with us, and someone wanted me to run that Rock Bottom Girl. So I have Rock Bottom Girl pinned up, so let's go ahead and run that. So this one is in excellent condition, super cute, really clean. So to go ahead and start this auction, once it's pinned up to the bottom, I'm just going to click this yellow Start Auction button. So I'm going to click Start Auction, and it's going to pop up this screen. I can then change the price if I want to, but I do want it to run at $7. However, I like to run my auctions a little lower. You can do as low as 2 seconds, and I think as long as 5 minutes, it looks like. We're going to do a 10-second auction, and then the counter bid time, and also you can see up here our giveaway is drawing right right here. Giddy taking our first Givey. Thank you so much. Giddy, you also have discounted shipping now as well. So I like to change my counter bid time to just 5 seconds, which means once somebody places a bid, the counter will reset 5 additional seconds to give people a little bit more time. 5, 7, 10 seconds, they all work great. I choose 5, and I don't do sudden death. Personally, you are more than welcome to, but we're going to go ahead and click start auction, and this is Rock Bottom Girl. Again, those of you guys that are like, why is she talking us through the auction? I am filming a video, so please bear with me. This is not a normal occurrence. This is a once in a ever thing. I'll probably never film this video again, at least not for another couple years. So this is the last time this is going to happen. And Jenna's taken that one. Hopefully you guys were able to see down there at the bottom. You could see who was bidding here and what the total sale price is. Obviously now it has sold and is all done. So I'll go ahead and take this off the screen, and I don't need to label this because this was an individually listed item. I know that this is Rock Bottom Girl, and I'll just stick it to the side with no label because obviously I know exactly what it is. Alrighty, I had It Starts With Us. I'm going to go ahead and start a pile. I think this was Chris and 3721. Alright, so now I'm just writing that username down here, and I will just stick it right here on the book and off to the side. Got Chris's pile started with that one. Alrighty. Let's see. Are we caught up? Are we caught up? Hi, Heather. Do I have any hardcover first? I don't. I very rarely get hardcover number 1, 2, or 3, and I do not have any at the moment. Graphic novels, we got Guts, and then Babysitter's Club 5, 6, 9. 5, 6, and 9. Perfect, perfect. And that is Rennie. So again, we'll go ahead and take a little post-it note here. Write down Rennie. And when you have regulars, you'll start to kind of abbreviate usernames. If you have people you've never seen before, maybe write down their whole username just to get acquainted with them. But you don't have to make it complicated. Just something that notifies you whose pile is what. 7 Deadly, I can definitely grab that for you as well. Just gotta grab. And we're gonna get started with new inventory very shortly, I promise. I just taken requests. Here's the Worst Best Man for you guys. Go ahead and pin that up. Pinned up, and then we'll click start. Once you've already started an auction, once you've done one auction, it will pre-save that. So as you see now, I don't need to go in and change it where it says the time and the counter bid time reset. It's going to auto default to that 10 and 5 seconds because that's what I chose. So it won't change unless I change it. So I can just go ahead and click start auction, and the Worst Best Man is running for you guys. That one, I don't know what the B in an exclusive is. It might just be an interview or something along those lines. All right, thank you, Jenna. Appreciate ya. And Jenna, I have a ton more Lucy score. I actually got some today, so I'll have some more coming up if you're interested. Here's 7 Deadly Sins. It's number 2. 23 minutes. We are just done with requests and introductions. We haven't even started new inventory, so let's go ahead and get going with that. But we have some great bundles started here. I've got another little bundle here started for David, and they are going to pick out some Magic Treehouse, so we'll stick this to the side. Let's go ahead and get going. I haven't seen a book by her in forever. I love Leah Remini, though. She's so funny. Nope, I don't have anything by her right now. Alrighty, starting us off, I've got this really cute Pokemon comics little pocket comics book here, Sun and Moon, and it has it's obviously like a comic style, but it has the different characters, so it's giving you like what their category is and stuff like that. So it's a Pokédex with a comic with each Pokemon. Very, very cute. I know, Justin's like probably giving me the death stare over here right now. He's like, what do you mean? So Pokemon here, as you guys can see on the screen, I see multiple requests for this Pokemon, so I'm going to go ahead and run it. I also didn't mention this, but real quickly, I do all of my shipping by weight. It is media mail. So media mail shipping starts off at a base rate of about $5 or $6. And then after that, it goes up every pound that you purchase, like a pound, like every pound your package weighs additional is about 75 cents. So if you get a bunch of really light, small books, your shipping's not going to be very much. If you get a bunch of really big, heavy books or a huge stack, your shipping might be a little bit heavier, but the base rate is about $5, $6-ish. I can't remember exactly what it is these days. It's always going up. And then about a little under $1 additional for every pound you add to your package. All right, let's go ahead and run this super cute Sun and Moon Pockets book. This one's going to be $3, 10 seconds, and that one is running for you guys. Hey love, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in. All right, Giddy's taking that one down. So as you guys can see below, I have it labeled book 1 to 3, number 1. So this is where the post-it notes come in. We're going to go ahead and write in 1 to 3/1. And then I'll just stick it right here on the book. And then I'm going to stick it right over here to the side. And I'll keep adding 1 to 3 ounce books. These are Who HQ. These are part of the buy 5 get 1 free books that we were talking about. So these are Who HQ. These are about famous people, places, and things. What is the World Cup? What were the Twin Towers? And Statue of Liberty. And Heather, if you wanted Twin Towers, let me know. Yes, on Twin Towers? Okay. I thought you were like commenting like, oh no. All right, so this is Heather again. I think Heather cashed out last night, so we'll start a new pile. So hopefully you guys are getting the gist of how the bundling works. I'm basically just taking requests, and as long as no one else is asking for the same item, I'm putting it here to the side, and I'll just keep adding books to their stack until they're ready to cash out. So that way we're not wasting time running a bunch of individual auctions, and it not only saves us time in the show, but it saves me money as a seller, because it's 30 cents for every single individual item that you sell. So if I was to be running all of these books, I would have already paid out, probably $10 in fees just from auctioning, but instead I'm able to save that money and put it into a pile and cash them out and take one 30-cent fee on their entire pile instead. So that is why the bundling is so important, and that is kind of how it works. So hopefully that's making sense to you all. And we did run an auction. I'm sure we'll run some more auctions here in a bit, and you guys will be able to see that as well. Alrighty, we have The Edge of the Fall, A Family Broken by War, A Secret That Will Change Everything. This one has just like some generic reading wear on the sides there. And here is your synopsis. And as you can see, I'm selling books. And the thing people want to know when they're buying a book is, A, is it in decent condition? Some people don't care as much as others, but is it in good reading condition? What's it about? So this is the 2 big points I'm showing with books. If you're selling something else like clothing or, handmade items or jewelry, whatever it might be, you need to showcase the items. If you have poor internet connection, or you're just not very good at showcasing something, or the camera's zooming in and out and it's not able to focus, or you're super up close and you're trying to get people to read, like that, where I'm super far away, that's not going to work. So find a happy medium that works for both your viewers and for you. Denise, I got you. All right, we got a little thriller, The Woman in the Window. A little bit of a bend up there on that corner. It isn't paranoia if it's really happening. All right, we got Finley Donovan is killing it. Most moms are ready to kill someone by 8:30 a.m. on any given morning. A little bit of reading wear on this one as well. It's Murder Being a Hit Mom. Skippy John Jones. I don't pick him up very often, but I thought this one was cute. Skippy John Jones and the Bagbones. Another Imagination Library. This is a little book about a little boy who is upset because things kept happening to him, and all of the animals tried to give him advice, but they just weren't very good at giving advice, and then the rabbit just listened. All right, Under Wildwood. Nice thick boy here. A little bit of lifting here. This is book 2 of the Wildwood series. So I do think you'd probably want to read book 1 first, but I actually am not 100% certain if they can be read standalone. I think you need to read book 1 though. This is actually a trilogy, and it is kind of like a younger, like upper elementary. It's fantasy, super, super cute. It does have a couple little illustrations in there as well. Got you, Giddy. All right, just $3 on this one, 10 seconds, and the spare is running for you. Awesome, Casey. Thank you so much. Great grab. have led the same life he did. All right, and so I labeled that 1 to 2 number 2, and then just stuck it down there right on top of the other auction for 1 to 2 pounds, and those will keep stacking so they're all in one stack. So that is the end of new inventory. I do have some books obviously left over here that if you missed the beginning of the show, I can definitely go back through, especially the picture books. I feel like those are a little harder to see. A lot of the chapter books you guys can see just fine. I'll pull this up for a moment so you guys can get a little glimpse, just in case you missed anything here. If you would like to go ahead and cash out, just let me know. I do have 2 things on my list, I Survived books and Leveled Readers, so if you want to stick around to see those. Before you cash out, hang tight. Yes, Rinny heard on Cubby, Vera's heard on Cubby, Jenna heard on Cubby, Fashion. Got you on the list here. Let me get caught up, and I got you first on my list. Science book from new inventory, and then check out. Got it. It was this Fascinating World of Science one. All right. Okay, perfect. I got you, Jenny. Let's go ahead and get Fashion cashed out. So Fashion, I had these 2 for you here. So I'm going to go ahead and create a listing here. We'll click the little plus sign. Again, I'm talking through this because I am filming a video about doing a live show. So if you're like, why is she talking through this? That is why. We're going to click create quality listing. We'll add our photo, and right here it'll pull up the camera so we can just take a picture, click complete, and then just fill out the following categories. So like whatever it is you're selling, right? This one, I'm going to put that 1 in front of it so that it does pop up at the top of the buy it now. We'll put fashion. I'm just going to put a little period in the description because I have what's listed here in the picture. We're going to click buy it now, and this is going to be $6. Again, we're skipping through all of this. This accept offers, reserve for live, all that just stays as what it is. You really don't need to be changing it. If you don't want people to send you offers, you can turn that off, but most people don't, and I don't really accept offers on set bundles, so I just leave all of that the way that it is. And then shipping profile, this is going to be just over a pound, probably 1 to 2 pounds, and we'll go ahead and click publish. So now if I go over here to the buy it now, I can see right there at the top, you can see that pile for Fashion. All right, so Fashion, you are in the buy it now, love. Thank you so much. Alrighty. And then I have Christina Hurd on the Cubby. We've got Giddy up next. Audra, I do have some children's Halloween books pictured in the auction tab under Halloween books if you want to take a peek there. Alright, Giddy. So we had the Under Wildwood, we had the Harry Potter, and then the manga. Again, click the plus sign, create a quality listing, add photos, take the photo, and then go through and put in the information. All right, Giddy, you are in the buy it now. And as you guys can see here, I'm just putting the bundles in through the listing process. I'm using the scale to get the weight, and then I'm just taking these and I'm going to set them over here to the side. For right now, I'm just going to set them here on the table, but I'll have them set over there to the side once they're all cashed out. We've got Casey, and then Jenny said that she's going to wait to cash out, so we'll do Casey real quick. And then after I get Casey cashed out, I'm going to grab our I Survived books. I'll have those coming right up here for you in a moment. p.m. Eastern time, and we're usually on for about 3 to 5 hours on Saturday. San Francisco earthquake, Japanese tsunami, gotcha, Denise, and then Battle of Gettysburg. So I am doing last call on the show, so I've basically given everyone an opportunity to let me know if there's anything else I can get for them. I have books out on the table that they can see. I've referenced my shelves. I have spoken about all the options and avenues for buying, and I have already ran all of my buyers giveaways, so those I have drawn. What I'm going to go ahead and start doing is using my phone to look in the category I'm selling in to see who I want to raid into. Remember, a raid is great at the end of your show to take everyone that's in your show and take them all to another seller's show. So I'll find someone for us to raid into while we have our last person picking out their buyer's givey, and then we'll do a raid and we'll say goodbye and sign off, and we'll be back again on Saturday. For those of you guys just joining us, we are wrapping up. If there's anything last minute I can grab for you, let me know. We'll be back again on Saturday if you missed today's show. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Crystal. All right, so we're going to go ahead and raid into someone. And we're going to go ahead and click these little 3 dots in the top right corner, and we're going to click the option for raid. So we'll click that, and we are going to raid into Animal Vet. They've got some fun stuff going on, and I just enjoy them as sellers. They're great sellers, so always got some good product. All right, guys, let's go ahead and raid into Animal Vet. I'll catch you guys on Saturday. Thank you so much for hanging out and all your patience tonight. I will see you guys later this week. Bye. All right, so we clicked raid now, and now we're going to go ahead and click continue, and it's going to raid us right into Animal Vet show, and we are no longer live now. So once you see that person's show pop up, you're no longer live. They can no longer hear me. We're done, and the show's over. You don't need to end your show or do anything like that. We've just raided into them. So that's what it looks like, and you can go ahead and exit out. You don't have to stay in the show if you don't want to. So here is the recap of our show. So we'll go ahead and click on this, and it's going to give us a great little breakdown of how our show went. So here we can see that we sold 20 items. Now, obviously, you guys know we sold more than 28 items, but we sold 28 individual sales. So whether it was a buy it now purchase or a bundle purchase, that's 20 individual sales. We did 8 giveaways total. We have a total in general of 13 shipments. So we sold 28 items with a total of 13 different individual shipments. So it was a $79 coupon spend. And the big reason for that is because we are at the end of our rewards club season. So that might seem like a lot of money, and it is. It's $80 off of my total. You know, that came out of my pocket. I fronted that $80. Basically is not money coming back in. It just disappears, right? And that's because of the rewards program. And the reason why that's so high is just because we are at the end of the season, and so everybody's cashing in those coupons. So technically, I made more than $279. I made whatever $279 plus 79 is, but I'm not going to see that $79 in coupon spend because it was like free gift to the buyer for their continued support. So we had 7 first-time buyers, which was great, and our total sales of $279. So not too shabby. Let's go ahead and take a look at what sold and what we're looking at here, what the after process looks like, and then we'll do a little wrap up. All right, so here is the aftermath of the show. These are piles that people created, and these are bundles, but these are bundles that are going to go on hold. Now, obviously, most of these are really small. This one is really tall just because, again, that rewards club program, one of the perks is that they got to hold their piles all week long, so they could build their stack as high as they wanted as long as they still cash out on Saturday. However, everyone else you can see is below kind of that 6-inch mark, which is how I do my hold system. So this is my little cubby here. I've got a couple of just like blank little spaces. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take all of these books and stack them up into the cubby. So if this is something you're interested in doing, this is kind of the way I do it. I just basically make sure their name is on the top of their stack, and I just kind of begin stacking them in there. I usually try to put them remotely a little bit in like an alphabetical order. So kind of like earlier letters at the top, middle, and the bottom, so on and so forth. However, because again, with this rewards program, I do have this stack and that stack are solely one person. I'm going to leave those alone, and I'm just going to stack here in the tops. And then after I'm done doing this, you can see here, this is everything that sold. So these are the bundles that sold, and then I'll show you the auction books over here in just a moment. So let me go ahead and get all of these little pre-held piles over into the cubby, and I'll show you what else we're working with here. All right, so now the floor is empty and everything is here in the cubby system. All right, so this is what sold on auction. We had a couple of 1 to 2 pound books here that sold. We have an 8 to 11 ounces, couple 1 to 3 ounces, and then this is actually a giveaway book. Now the show is over. What I'll basically do is pull up our seller dashboard and start organizing the 13 different shipments that I have into the piles. And it's going to look a little something like this. This is going to be kind of crazy looking over here, but this is Saturday and Monday's Reward Club show. So this is what it will look like. I'll basically stick them over here in an alphabetical order, and they'll be prepped for packing. So all of this is stuff that sold this past weekend and is ready to be packed. So as you can see, when you're doing bulk, bulk, it's definitely a lot of work, but it's nice to be able to move that many books at one time. I really hope that that was helpful. I tried my best to do as much recording as I could through the process, and I obviously haven't edited this video yet, but once I do, I'm going to try to include as much detail as I possibly can for you all. I'm assuming this was a longer video, and I just hope it was helpful. If so, please hit that thumbs up button, and if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the chat below. I'm more than happy to answer anything that I didn't clarify on, or just give a little bit more details on something that maybe I didn't go enough in depth on. This did end up being a longer show for a Tuesday. Typically my Tuesday shows fall about like an hour to an hour and a half, and this ended up being about a 2.5 hour show. So it was a long show, but we did some great sales, definitely moved a lot of inventory, and again, hopefully you were able to see people, you know, popping in and out, making requests, what it looks like when I'm queuing up these auctions, what it looks like when I'm making the bundles, how I'm interacting in the chat, starting and ending the show, and all that good stuff. In next week's video, we're going to actually talk about the shipping side of things. Now, I've made a few shipping videos in the past, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to approach this shipping video exactly, but I do want to showcase, you know, the shipping side of things. I want to talk about the seller dashboard. I want to explain, you know, what do I do with all the books that I have over here that were left over? Like, do they go on the shelf? Do they go in the buy it now? Do I donate them? Like, what do I do with them? And just kind of what are the after steps after you've completed your show, outside of knowing how much you sold, seeing everything you have, and of course getting ready to start shipping. We'll talk about all the like post-show things you need to know, including shipping, in next week's video. Again, any comments or questions, drop them in the chat below, and please hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'll catch you guys next week with part 4 of our Whatnot 101 / step-by-step walkthrough guide. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great week until then. Bye.